Thank you, Carol, for filling in for Julie. Thank you so much. Okay. Good morning. Grace to you, peace to you, welcome to you. Happy Mother's Day. Hello, Happy Mother's Day. Yeah, okay. All right. So every couple of years, I am going to have the privilege to share with you a poem that I wrote for Mother's Day. And so I'll share it with you this morning. M is for the many things you do. O is for all the other things you do. T is for all the things you do. H is for the hurry you are in because of all the things you do. E is for everything you do. And R is for the rest you need because of all the things you do. There you go. It took me a long time to come up with that. So anyway, we celebrate motherhood. We celebrate the gifts of nurturing and blessing and love and sacrifice. And we are grateful for being able to do that. So welcome to you. I call your attention to announcements. They are in the nuggets. Take a look at all the different things that are going on, and especially in terms of the top 3 things that are going on. Continue to lift up the church, Shadow Rock, in prayer because of the work we do, and lift up the leadership of Shadow Rock as we do our best to discern and to be servant leaders and to walk into the future as we discern that God is calling us. So your prayers are very much appreciated. Now, next Sunday is Choir Sunday, so it will be a Sunday full of great music, and we're able to celebrate the gifts of our choir and all that they give to us each Sunday. We are able to lift them up next week, and so we're grateful to them, and it's a chance for us to say thank you to them. So we hope that you come. We hope that you invite other people because it's just a great time as they share music with us. So I want to remind you of that. So take a deep breath. Know that you are loved. Know that you are welcome here. And no matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, indeed, you are welcome here. So I invite you to stand, and Gordon, will you please call us to worship?
We are held by an awesome beauty, above, below, surrounding us in the constant presence of life and love. So let us celebrate the richness of love and diversity of life by singing our hearts out.
Sailing in the wind, her wings flashing in the sun, on a journey just begun, she flies on, and in the past
Yes, this is the time for centering prayer. I would ask that you would spend a few moments contemplating the quilt before you. And may this prayer by Kathleen Schmidt be your prayer this morning. Quilter of the galaxies, from our fragmented bodies and souls, you gather remnants to stitch into the pattern of the universe. Piece together the scraps of our lost dreams and aspirations that, transformed by the magic of your skill, you bring into being the new creation. Maker of all that is, thread that draws us through the needle's eye, fabric of our hope and joy. Amen. Thank you, Barb and Joyce.
Thank you. Friends, there is spiritual power in our words. With a word we can tear down or we can build up. I ask that you would use your spirit, use your words to build up each other, to wish one another peace. And so let us greet each other as a sign of God's peace and of our shared friendship. Greet one another. A little bit of blues on Mother's Day. Only my mama may love me and she might be jiving me too. So that's little B.B. King. All right. Welcome, everyone. This is the time in our service where we lift up the celebrations of our life. There's a lot of different kinds of things that go on, and some of it is actually painful. And yet, we believe as people of faith and conscience that underneath everything, that life is a gift. And we believe in the deep goodness of life. And so we celebrate life. We celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. And so we even will celebrate the life of those friends and families that have left us. And so Hubert is not here this morning. And Hubert had asked that we would lift up the life of his cousin. His cousin is 25 years old, and she was in China on scholarship, and she unexpectedly died there in China, and her body is being taken. And he remembers her kindness. He remembers just how sweet her spirit is and how generous her spirit was. And he remembers playing together as children. And so while he grieves that, he also celebrates her life. He had planned on being away this weekend to be with his sister in Dallas, and so it is good that they are together and they have each other during this time as they think about their cousin's life. And so we want to send our spirit and join him in that moment, in that grief, but also in that celebration of life. So, if you have such a celebration of life, of love, of peace, of justice, I invite you to stand and let an usher come to you with a microphone so that we may all share. And we'll start on this end, and then we'll move slowly across the sanctuary this way. And so we start with Jean wearing, is that magenta?
That is some unknown color.
Okay.
Joe says his color is as bright as me.
All right. That's true.
Good,
That's true.
Good friend and blind.
All right.
I love my blind friends. I'm actually celebrating two things this morning. Cindy and I are celebrating the birth of our oldest son, Jeff, who will be 46 years old tomorrow. Just shows you can have children in, single-digit years of your life. can't possibly be this old. I just can't believe it. And also, I'd ask you to lift up the Wallace family. You may have read in the paper that a young man fell at Horseshoe Bend on the Colorado River last week, about 800 feet, and passed. His younger brother is my youngest son's best friend. So if you could lift that family up in prayer, appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. Sue.
Good morning. I would like to celebrate that Gina was cleared on Monday to return to sports.
Wonderful.
As soon as she gets her brace.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Carla.
Hi, Carla Rutherford. I'm celebrating that 2 of my children are here with me today, and then I have a soon-to-be sophomore in college, which is really great. Lena finished out her freshman year with just a great, strong finish. And Mitchell, my teacher's son, is here with me today, too, and I just celebrate all the teachers and all of the things that they've been through. And I know he was so dedicated to his children that he just wanted to get back in the classroom. So celebrate all that went on with that. And also celebrating my mother's husband, who just finished his 3rd round of chemo and is struggling with some of those side effects and things, but we're seeing some progress, and just really want to celebrate that and my mother on Mother's Day.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Okay. Pat.
Pat Farmer, and I'm celebrating the safety of our son, Chris Farmer, who lives in Volcano, Hawaii, on the Big Island, where Kilauea has erupted, as many of you have seen on the news. But he had the earthquake break some of his dishes, but hey, dishes can be replaced. He himself is safe, and we are very thankful for that.
Very good. Thank you. We are. All right. Sybil.
I would like to celebrate my own mother, who of course is deceased, but she was a great mother. My current celebration is that I have my daughter Priscilla here with me from Atlanta today. Just have Mother's Day with me, and I'm delighted.
Wonderful. Welcome, Priscilla. Good. Thank you. Steve.
Steve and Linda Merrill, we're celebrating 2 things today. One is our son Ethan turned 51 today, yesterday. 52. Oh, 52, I'm sorry. He's so easy to forget.
Yeah.
And there's that thing, we went out to supper last night to celebrate his birthday, and his son picked up the tab. Thank goodness.
Nice. Nice. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Yes.
I am Kelly. I have a bittersweet celebration this morning. I have to say goodbye to 4 amazing and wonderful special women who are severely mentally ill, who I've had the pleasure and I've been blessed to work with as I move on and further my career as a crisis specialist at another agency. So all your prayers would be appreciated as I have to say goodbye to these ladies.
Yes. Goodbye, but best to you in your journey. Thank you. Mickey.
Good morning, Mickey Tucker. For those of you who know Connie Beaupre, I got to see her the other day, and she's home in hospice, and she is doing a good job of it. So it was really good to see her and to get to hug her again and talk to her again. So
Yeah. Connie's
just
remarkable.
prayers for Connie
Yep.
and
Prayers
her
for
family.
Thank you for that. Alison.
Yes, 2 things. I'd like to have you lift up my niece in California. She fears that she may be struggling with a mental illness. She's hoping she doesn't, because it does tend to be in the family, and so she's struggling with that a lot. And then I'd like to celebrate the ring of the doorbell this morning when I had my neighbors come over and gave me a dozen roses. They kind of look after me since I'm by myself, and I'm just blessed to have such wonderful neighbors across the street.
Yes, thank you. There are millions upon millions of random acts of kindness that take place every day that we don't know about. And that's why we can celebrate life. And there's an example. Thank you, Alison. Tom.
Hello, this is Tom Penn. A couple of weeks ago, I had a wonderful time at my high school graduation reunion, number 56. The four of us had a great time. Wait, did I say four? Wait, did I say four? It was 44.
Okay.
A lot better. And that's out of 359 graduates, right? Oh, you might ask, what place was I? What did I say, 359? I was 333. So, yes, I got through.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. I asked that we would read together this the wide spectrum of mothering. I'll read the first line, and then if you read the line that is italicized. To those who gave birth this year to their first child, we celebrate with you. To those who lost a child this year, we mourn with you. To those who are in the trenches with little ones every day and wear the badge of food stains, we appreciate you. To those who experience loss through miscarriage, failed adoptions, or running away, for those who walk the hard path of infertility, fraught with pokes, prods, tears, and disappointment. Forgive us when we say foolish things. We don't mean to make this harder than it is. To those who are foster moms, mentor moms, and spiritual moms. We need you. To those who have warm and close relationships with your children. To those who have disappointment, heartache, and distance with your children. We sit with you. To those who lost their mothers this year. We grieve with you. To those who experienced abuse at the hands of your own mother. We acknowledge your experience. To those who lived through driving tests, medical tests, and the overall testing of motherhood. To those who have aborted children, to those who are single and long to be married and mothering your own children, to those who step-parent, to those who envision lavishing love on grandchildren, yet your dream is not to be, to those who will have emptier nests in the upcoming year, to those who place children up for adoption, and to those who are pregnant with new life, both expected and surprising. This Mother's Day, we walk with you. Mothering is not for the faint of heart, and we have real warriors in our midst. We acknowledge and remember you. Let's sing our celebration song.
Celebrate your heart and your spirit. Celebrate your life while you live it, even when it's hard to do. Celebrate the best of you. Celebrate your dreams and your visions. Celebrate the love you've been given. Cherish all that you've been through. Celebrate the best of you.
Let us now bring our offerings as a decision to be co-creators with God in a safer and more inclusive world. Let us give of ourselves and our offerings to make life good.
I'll be your candle on the water. My love for you will always turn. I know you're lost and drifting, but the clouds are lifting. Don't give up, you have somewhere to turn. I'll be your candle on the water, till every wave is warm and bright. My soul is there beside you. Let this candle guide you. Soon you'll see a golden stream of light. A cold and friendless tide has found you. Don't let the stormy darkness pull you down. I'll paint a ray of hope around you, circling in the air, lighted by a prayer. I'll be your candle on the water. This flame inside of me will grow. Keep holding on, you'll make it. Here's my hand, so take it. Look for me, reaching out to show, as sure as rivers flow. I'll never let you go. I'll never let you go. I'll never let you
Join me in the dedication of our offerings. The Spirit of life and love is the weaver, making patterns and spinning threads throughout our days. May we have the wisdom to discern, the generosity and compassion to help, and the courage to allow ourselves and our gifts to be part of life's tapestry.
Boris, thank you. Really love your voice. Thank you. Thank you. I want to apologize for the first song that we sang. Somehow I left out half the verses. But it would have been okay if it was like verse 2 and 4, but it was half of every verse. And I hope that you all caught on, and as Forrest sang wonderfully through that the rest of you would hum along and then join in on the chorus, and it worked out well, I think. So thank you for that. When it comes to Mother's Day, I found something that it kind of represents my wife Peg's view of Mother's Day. It says, most of the wise, mature, sensible women I know have nothing but disdain for Mother's Day, which they rightfully declare to be crass, commercial way of getting guilty children to spend money on them. Furthermore, I'm hoping that I will turn into one of those wise, mature, sensible women long before this current decade is through. But meanwhile, if you know what's good for you, you'll get a gift and send flowers. And we have had a great experience over the last 3 weeks. We have been looking at the campfires of Shadow Rock. Theism is a belief in the existence of God or gods. In Western society, it is mostly belief in one God as creator of the universe. Intervening in creation is sustaining a personal relationship to creation and creatures. Theism insists, or at least allows, the naming of God and relating to God, which helps us with the dimension of intimacy with our spirituality. The campfire of non-theism is a belief in the more of life which cannot be named or known. There is mystery, life, love, and energy. There is more to life than we can see with our eyes and measure with our sciences. Non-theism is an orientation toward life that affirms there is more height and depth always to be discovered. And non-theists give that transcendence meaning. Non-theism resists the personification and naming of the mystery. So while it struggles with intimacy of spirituality, it helps with the sense of awe and the sublime with our spirituality. Atheism is a lack of belief or a strong disbelief in the existence of God or gods. Atheism demands a strict epistemological orientation toward life. That is, let's only talk about what we can know through our sciences and human experience. Atheism says, let's avoid the sentimentalism and the woo-woo-ness of theism and non-theism and deal with the reality that we know and can define. It is too easy to sidestep responsibility for our lives and the condition of the world by creating a God or a devil in our image. Besides, the reality we can know is awesome enough, and too much suffering has been caused in the name of religion. So those are the three campfires. We've had a good time visiting our campfires for the last 3 weeks. Our claim is that we would find good company at each of the campfires, and we did. We visited with Ahmad at the campfire of non-theism. We visited with Kyle at the campfire of atheism. We visited with Sybil at the campfire of theism. And while theism, non-theism, and atheism are worldviews and theological constructs with their own definitions, parameters, and limitations, we learned from each of our visitations that you cannot separate a person's experience of life from their faith. And this is why we say, no matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. I need your journey. Your journey enriches my own. Dietrich Bonhoeffer said, the word of Christ is stronger in my sister and brother than it is in me, and that's why I need you. That's what we're saying. Is your journey enriches mine. And while people get caught up in the argument of the existence or non-existence of God, this is not the most important issue. After the horrific events of world wars and genocide, Holocaust, the use of atomic bombs, and the threat of nuclear annihilation, the question of the existence and nature of God, debated by philosophers and theologians for centuries, finally trickled down into the consciousness of every human being. There was a major shift in human consciousness about God. God is dead went from the lips of Nietzsche in 1882 to the headlines of a major publication called Time magazine in 1966. Think of all the historical events between 1882 and 1966. What Nietzsche meant was that the human constructs of God that used to work for people do not work anymore. And this became more true as history unfolded. This was the impetus of the revitalization movement called the Ecumenical Institute. This was the purpose of offering a class called Religious Studies 1, shared all across the country in the 1960s. The first lecture was the God lecture. The God lecture asked the question, what is the shared human reality we can all point to when we use the term G-O-D? RS1 recognized the historical shift in human consciousness, that the old theism construct of God was eroding away and new non-theism construct of God was emerging to take its place. At least this was the thought. If the church was to survive the death of God movement. The challenge is, while this may have been the truth of the movement of the culture at large, it grated against the spirituality of many individuals who were not there yet. Cultural movements take a long time, and there are regressions and retrograde eddies and flows within movements. For example, I think the rise of conservative evangelicalism is a regressive reaction to the cultural shift toward non-theism and atheism. In fact, they will say so themselves, and they will sing, "Give me that old-time religion." Because the new time, that which is emerging, doesn't speak to everybody. Such regressions are especially true as large social institutions like the church are always resistant to change. So here we are at Shadow Rock. We are a living example of a group of people made up of all of those campfires because we are in the middle of a cultural change, not at an end. We are a train wreck of spirituality. But because of our calling to love one another and our emphasis on our values of inclusion, justice, and spirituality, we are also a refuge for each other. Because we can provide refuge for each other, we can be and are blessed by each other's journeys. I can pray with Ahmad Daniels, Muslim, and non-theists, to and for the mystery that we humbly dare call by some name. Because we can provide refuge for each other, we can be blessed by each other's journeys. And I can hear the integrity of the challenging questions of Kyle Jones, our atheist friend, and work with him for a better world. Because we can provide refuge for each other, we can be blessed by each other's journeys. And without apology and with meaning, I can say with Sybil Eppinger, for the sake of Sharon Ray, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I am a non-theist. I am an atheist. I am a theist. More important than the campfire where I find good company and friends and sing songs is the freedom I have to move from campfire to campfire, the paths that I walk on at different times in my life. For God is big enough and loving enough to keep me in the shelter of God's strong arm even when I doubt. And life is deep enough and good enough that in those moments when I wonder if there even is a God, I still know that this day is a gift. And because there is so much more to life than what I can see with my eyes, touch with my hands, measure with my sciences, and it points to infinity above and below, behind and ahead, I can stand, sit, kneel in the middle of the night, laid down with a sense of awe. Breathe deep. And maybe I only have the days between my birth and my death, but it is a gift. But just as there is more than I can measure with our sciences, see with my eyes, there may also be more beyond my death. I don't know, but I trust, and I'm not alone. For I come into a clearing called Shadow Rock, and there I can warm my hands and sing songs and find good company at any of those campfires. And I can leave that campfire and join everyone at a table of generosity and vision and hope and peace and justice. And so, this is our journey and who we are. I think we can say thank you and amen. Gordon, will you lead us in words for mission?
As the Spirit teaches inwardly, may we involve ourselves in the grander issues of life, those issues which make a compelling difference, which create the good of life for all humanity. These are the times. We are the people. All of creation is blessed. May we love all and serve all. May God be with you, and also with you. Amen.